Hello, hello, hello. I'm back again. The greeting is still the same because I'm a creature of habit. So if you're new here, I'm Ketan. I am just a regular day-to-day guy who has decided for some strange reason to put his thoughts out there on the internet for everyone to hear, see, criticize, whatever the case may be. So yeah, here we are, another video. Today's video is slightly different in the sense that I'm not actually giving advice as such. This is just me vocalizing thoughts that are in my head. So just kind of maybe not reaching out, but seeing if there's anyone else who feels the same way that I do. Sometimes confused about what it is to be a British Asian. And what is a British Asian? In my mind, it's an Asian person of Asian origin who either came to this country from abroad and then after a number of years got citizenship, or like myself, who was born here. I was born in London, Harrow Road Hospital that is no longer there, and the Paddington end, and lived all my life here pretty much. But throughout my life, there's been times when, and I hate to say it, but it's more recent times, as in the last, say, 10 to 15 years, that I've experienced the most racism. And it's made me kind of question my identity. So what do I mean by that? Last October, as in just October just gone, like 4 or 5 months ago, there was a incident in a car park that happened here in Tesco. An older chap approached me in the car park, and in a very short space of time, he called me a fucking Asian, a p***y and a nigger. So, like, 1 out of 3 of those was correct. The fucking Asian. Obviously, I'm a fucking Asian. The p***y and were uncalled for, as was the rest of the abuse about, your lot are like this and you people this, and the typical stuff. And I didn't react to it like I not normally would, but how I expected to. He's an old guy, his wife was with him, and I just kind of tried to, avoid him. Avoid him, and I do that because he did try to punish me a few times. So the police is dealing with this, and in typical police fashion, I don't think they're going to do anything. So, it is what it is. But it really made me think. Like, that moment, that evening, I really felt like I don't belong here. Like, is this what British people think of us? And the irony was I was sat at my dinner table in my house with 7 white people and me. So then my mind said to myself, don't be stupid. Like, look at the evidence around you. And sometimes it takes that for us to really realize and look at situations and not base our perceptions on minor incidents. I know it was a major incident, but you know what I mean. Like in a time perspective, it was a minor point in my life. That whole 2-3 minutes or whatever, how long it lasted. So that kind of knocked me for 6 a little bit. Maybe it reminded me of when my dad would say to me, years ago we used to watch cricket. I would get together as a family, and we still do sometimes, when India were playing England, and we were all like, India, India, India. And my dad said to me, you can't support England. Sorry, India rather. You shouldn't be supporting India. You should be supporting England. England is your country. You live here. You're born here. It's giving you it's giving you your life. It's giving you your opportunity. You should be proud to be British. And I thought to myself, fair point. But it felt like my dad was telling me that I'm not Indian. So my dad's telling me I'm not Indian. Kevin in the car park is telling me I'm not British. What am I? Yeah, it's a good question. There's no answer to this. I'm not looking for an answer. Like, I know I'm a British Asian. But it knocked me for six. And sometimes what you have to do is look around and realize that not everyone is like that. And that works both ways. So if you're, white British and you're looking at an Asian person and you're reading off the negative stereotypes, we're not all like that. Just in the same way as all white British people aren't a certain way, whatever that way may be. There's nobody on the planet that's, that's the way the negative stereotype applies to 90% of that demographic. It just doesn't exist. So I know this video might attract some kind of negative comments and so on, but I don't really give a fuck. But it's got to be said and it's got to be put out there, I think. And there's this incident where on Instagram, some guy in the comment section kicked off. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he started being racist, basically. English guy that lived in Australia banging on about immigration. The irony. But anyway, with him, what I did was I did some internet stalking. I found out who his parents were through his Facebook, found out who his girlfriend was. Then I thought, let me go a bit further. I found out who his employer was, and I thought, all right, who do I talk to about this guy? This is the wrong thing to do, okay? This is the wrong thing to do. I know this now because I was in a very reactionary, vengeful state. So I contacted his employer, and his employer responded to me. Like a week later, they said, send us your email address. And then they responded to me and they said, basically, we're dealing with the matter, blah, blah, blah. We can't say what we're going to do, but we apologize. This is not the belief of, our organization. And then he just vanished off all social media. Now, I don't know what happened, but whilst it was funny at the time, I kind of think to myself, if he hated Asians, he's going to hate us more after that. And at that point, what I should have done is build bridges in some way. And people are going to have two things. People are going to have two views about that. It's kind of the one people will be like, you fuck around and find out, and he found out. But ultimately, if we're going to change and build bridges between amongst society, then we shouldn't be vengeful like that. But yeah, going back to British Asian, if anyone else out there feels like I do, who's born here, and sometimes you have a bit of an identity crisis. We grew up watching Bollywood films and listening to Bollywood music, and now we listen to Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley, who aren't British, I know, but nevertheless, it's Western culture. It's a funny one. It's a funny one. And again, like I said, this video is a bit different in the sense that I'm not giving advice here. I'm just vocalizing some thoughts that I'm having and do have. Fundamentally, I think, I invite you to look around and realize that not everybody is this way. Society as a whole, whether you look at, British people, British Asian people, Muslim people, Jewish people, like whichever demographic, black people, Chinese people, whatever. Like there's dickheads in every single one of those demographics. And that's just the way the world is. That's the way the world is always going to be. So we just have to accept that and look for the good in people. Slightly idealistic way of looking at things, but it is what it is. I think the older I'm getting, the softer I'm getting, because I still defend myself, but I'm at a point where I think we should all collectively get along, because everyone loves a curry. But it's true though, isn't it? Everyone loves a curry. Maybe I'll have a curry tomorrow night, actually. But anyway, I think that's it. Like I said, there's no advice or conclusion to this video. The conclusion will be maybe discussed at a time. If I meet you and see you, we can have this chat and delve a bit deeper into it. But if not, I hope that something I said has sparked a thought, or sparked a thought that has an eventual positive effect on you, because that's kind of why I'm doing this as well. So I hope that happens at some point for someone. If it doesn't, I'm sorry I wasted 10 minutes of your time. But in any case, thank you for watching. Ciao for now.